Hi everyone and welcome. We're so happy to be here on Friday, um, the 1st of March. Happy March, in like a lion, out like a lamb, or vice versa. Um, and we are What's New and Coming Up with Lipedema. And I am Gail Straker. I'm the community manager, and I am here today with two of my sisters in crime. My cohorts. I remember the slumber party we had last month. Anyway, Catherine Seo. Hey, Catherine, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Catherine, founder and CEO of Lipedema and Lipedema Project, and so happy to be able to be with you. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to make this for some weeks, so I'm happy to be here.
Oh, and we're happy that you're here too, Catherine, because you're right. Usually you say, girls, take over because I'm busy. You say that quite often on Friday, so I'm glad you're here. It's always good to have you. And my other cohort in crime is Siobhan Huggins. Siobhan, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Siobhan. I'm the research specialist with the Lipedema Project. I do a bunch of stuff, probably too much stuff, but I'm here anyway.
And well, we're glad you're here because where else would you be?
I'm
Tucked
really.
into bed,
Um,
sleeping,
we
probably.
need to say hi to Julie Rosa. Hi,
I
Julie.
Hi, Julie. So I see that we have 16 people on, but Julie Rosa, she was on before we got on. so, um, and I love what she says because it really makes us feel good when our audience tells us where they're from and gives us a little message. Hi, didn't want a Friday to go by without sharing it with my very special friends. I think that's us, you guys. I think that's us from Camarillo, California. So if you think about it when you're watching today, please make sure that you drop in where you're from and give us a little thumbs up or a heart. I'm sorry, I'd like to do the heart, but I have to have one hand holding my computer. Let's see if I can do it. And anyway, there you go. Thanks. But watch, Catherine, you can do a heart. Can you give me a heart, Catherine? There you go. Okay. See, she gives me lots of hearts. Don't you love it? And so we're here today to share with what's coming up with lipedema. And we try to keep you updated as often as we can. And that's why we come in every Friday. And so if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. We might not get to all of them. We have a lot of things that we're going to be talking about today. But first of all, I just want to welcome everybody
Um,
here. Go ahead, Catherine.
yeah, let's just jump in because I think this is an important question about
Okay.
Mucinex. There are quite a few people in the community that use Mucinex, um, and the question is how safe it is. Safe is it? I read it can be addictive and can cause dizziness and sleepiness. Is that sleepiness? Yes, sleepiness.
Yeah.
And hi, Nancy. Um, I'm going to ask Gail and Siobhan to weigh in on this, but I tried it and I found that it didn't work well for me and it caused more side effects than it did relief. And so I stopped it. Um, so that was my personal experience with it. Do you
Yeah.
guys have any experience?
I have never tried it. I am that person who doesn't try medications or um, supplements without. I lurk. It's kind of like with me and CBD. It took me 6 months to say, okay, I'll try this. So I usually don't try medications if I can help it. So I don't take any medications at all. So I can't say I have any opinion.
Yeah, so I did try it for 9 days. So that should tell you a lot in itself. So one thing that's important to note is when we're talking about Mucinex for this specific purpose, it's just the guaifenesin. with nothing else. So sometimes there's like Mucinex DM or whatever, not that one. Number two is some people have said it helps them with their swelling, it helps them with lipedema symptoms, stuff like that. Some people said not so much. Some people said they got more negative reactions. So it seems to be another one of those things that's really individual. For anything involving supplements, I always recommend just work with your doctor on it. Let them know, hey, I want to try this. Can you work with me on it? Can you help me keep an eye on things? And use them as your check-in buddy. And regardless, have a check-in buddy for any N of one personal experiments because you don't know what your reaction is going to be. My reaction to it was it triggered really bad depression symptoms. And I found like one Reddit post where like a dozen people were saying it did the exact same thing, and that's it. So it seems pretty rare. So I guess I'm just lucky. But I also do have a history of depression, and I use a therapeutic ketogenic diet to keep that asymptomatic. So that may have played in. But it's just to say, like, you just don't know what these experiments are going to do. So it's better to be working with your doctor and working with a check in buddy and just making sure you're prepared for weird side effects that may happen when you're trying stuff. So I can't say if it's going to work for anybody or if it's going to do anything positive, negative. It seems to be individual, but just make sure that you are safe when you're trying stuff.
Yeah. And I want to say I'm the opposite. I try everything. If anybody says something will work, I order it from Amazon. I have so many supplement bottles. You think I was a pharmacist. And so I try them. And if they work, I keep them. If they don't, I don't. And I muscle test. Don't even ask. And yes, thank you, Sherry. I'm doing much, much better. You can tell every week I'm doing a little better. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
There was another
Those
question.
were the questions to start with.
Yeah. So there was another question. I'll grab it right here because I do not have this answer. So I'm bringing it up in case one of you do. And it is, has any research been conducted on C8 MCT oil and lymphatic functions?
I'm
So when we're
not sure about C8 specifically, that's talking about like the length of the fatty acid, basically. So MCT is usually derived from like coconut oil, for example. There's like purified MCT that you can get. I feel like there is because I think Leslyn has mentioned it, but I don't know the specific study. And all I have in my head is Leslyn saying something about lymphatics and MCT. So there is, and we can ask her and then potentially put that information somewhere because I don't have it on hand.
Well, we do.
Yeah, come back next week. Leslyn will be back. She's away this week.
Right. And I do know that fat fuels our lymphatics. So we do need fat in our diets. Some need less, some need more, but fat is important to have. Healthy fats is important to have for our lymphatic system. Okay, so what else do we have in here? So I want to say hi to people who are on. Everybody's putting their names in here. We have Julie Rosa, of course, we've already greeted her, and Juanetta's from Anchorage. She says it's cold, but very sunny. Sherry's here. Sherry is normally from Florida, but now she's in New Jersey, and to her it's cold. It's in the 40s, and we're all going, oh, that's a comfy temp. Nancy's here. We answered her question. Kristen's here from Raleigh. Karen's from Michigan. Let's see. We've got, who else is here? Millie loves keto. Keto's the only way she's been able to lose weight and keep it off. No, that's Dinah in Cambridge. It's Millie loves keto. Who else do we have? We've got Anna from Florida, and the Healing Blossom. Her name is Angela, and she's from Salt Lake City. So, hi. Hi, everybody. Glad that you're here. Thank you so much for checking in with us. Make sure you give us thumbs up and hearts. It always helps our point system. Give all the hearts to me or to Catherine or to Siobhan. So, anyway, we want to talk to you a little bit about what is coming up really very soon for us. And I'm so glad that Catherine is here today because she's going to be pairing up with Sherry Honeycutt for a free webinar. And that webinar is like the day after tomorrow. It's on Sunday. It's a free webinar. Catherine, what can you tell us about that?
Gail, go ahead and put up the info.
I will.
It's called Designing Your Life on Purpose. Thank you. Designing Your Life on Purpose, which is a kind of a double entendre. On purpose is what's your purpose, and on purpose is intentionally. Because those of us with chronic illness sometimes feel like we don't get much say or have much choice. Well, this is about how do you choose to create a life that has not only value for you, but has a quality that is wonderful, that can be what you want it to be. So Sherry Honeycutt has been at our different events. She's spoken to our group before. She is fabulous. I just have fallen in love with her. She has a way, she herself, she doesn't have lipedema or lymphedema. She's had her own challenges. And at the end of the day, any kind of situation that challenges us gives us the same opportunity to either rise above it and use it to move forward or not. I'm not going to talk about the are not. You know what that is. So we're going to be getting together on Sunday. So join us. Mostly Sherry. I'll be supporting it and doing an intro about lipedema. I think people must be so my intro on lipedema, but we have new people coming all the time. So I always do an intro. And we'll talk about, and also, go ahead.
I was going to say your intro is really a nice, compact intro that a person can take it and use it for an elevator pitch. You know what I mean? Like if you want to start talking about lipedema, just take a look at one of your intros, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's very, at this point, it's very succinct. I can say that about it. So I'm thrilled about the kind of offerings that Lipedema Simplified and Lipedema Project have been in the process of for the community. There's, oh, hi, Greta. So nice to see you. And I wanted to just say I'm thrilled about what we're offering and the reach, because we just get people from all over the world here now. And I think that's really good. So Anna, I just want to answer this one. Anna wants to know about carnivore, and are you still on it? I have to say I'm on it. I'm semi on it. So I had some medical issues, pretty serious, significant medical issues with central lymphatic dysfunction. And the first thing that they did is they told me to stop eating keto, which I was a bit annoyed by. But anyway, they put me on because of some of the issues medically. So I've been on a very clean but low fat diet plan. And I saw the gastroenterologist yesterday. I'm going for an endoscopy because they don't know what's causing it. They think it's endemic. They think it's the edema, but we have to check it out. So I'll let you know. In the meantime, I'm feeling better and better all the time.
That's good to
Yeah.
hear.
So
And
that's good.
that's an important aspect to acknowledge is like even if carnivore was good for your lipedema symptoms and lots of stuff, when you have something like a central lymphatic issue, that does change some things.
Yeah.
Especially when it was as severe as yours, because your central lymphatics helps you process fat. So often, Leslyn talks about
Mm,
if you have a severe central lymphatic issue, you may need to bring the fats down at least until you get that resolved if you can. So
mhm.
things may change over time as your body changes and as some issues are resolved or improve and others come up, all this stuff. And it's always good to keep an open mind when it comes to that and be willing to change so that your body's getting what it needs when it needs it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good. I think that's true. Though I have to say, I had short ribs today. Remind me of my keto days. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. That's it. That's all I had was short ribs. Or actually, they were St. Louis ribs.
Oh my gosh,
They
because I'm
right.
drooling. I'm just drooling because
It,
I want short
it was
ribs.
the same. Well, it was sort of it was the same ribs that I got while you guys were here.
I know they were really good. They're really
Yeah, except they didn't have them cooked, so I had to buy them raw and cook them myself. And I like the cooked ones better than the ones that I make. I think they have a better rub than I do.
probably
But anyway,
they didn't have they anyway. The ones that you got for the conference was really good. We're
yeah.
going to not only do we have a free webinar on Sunday, which I dropped in the link, I dropped in the chat. So register for that. Make sure you always register for one of our events because if you register for that particular event, you will get a replay. These are the webinars. You will also get a replay link. And then you'll get all of our updates and everything like that. So make sure you register for that. Even if you can't make it, register for it. And then you'll have that replay link. We also have another webinar coming up on Thursday. Siobhan and is going to be presenting Exploring Pain Management with Nutrition. Siobhan, would you like to tell us about that?
Yeah, so one of the big things that comes up with the lipedema community is pain. Like, pain is one of those things. Pain and mobility are two things that can massively impact quality of life. So, we want to be able to come in and do as much as we can to reduce or eliminate pain, preferably. And one thing that we found as a community is that nutrition can play into that, and it can be really, really helpful. Not the only thing, but it can be an important piece for a lot of people. It's something that I use for pain management, for lipedema related pain, and even just like joint pain and back pain that I've had. Um, and so I wanted to be able to talk about that and kind of what do we think about when we're approaching something in terms of managing pain? Because it's a little bit different if you're approaching it from like a diet perspective, because if you want long-term pain relief, you may need to be eating a certain way for however long you want that pain relief to last. And there's some complexity in that. Um, so yeah, I think it will be good, and I think it's cool that we're approaching this topic of pain this year because it is such an important one, and there's multiple different things that we can do about it. So if we can get these different options out there, somebody's going to find something that's going to work for them.
Yeah, it's going to be along with Brian Hayward he's going to also talk about CBD. He's going to come in and have a short presentation on CBD. He's a CBD consultant.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, there's some questions. Catherine, I want to pull this. There's a couple who are like, hey, is it linked to lipedema? And I want to pull this one up. I have resistant hypertension. Is there any relationship between lipedema and high blood pressure? I am on a plant-based diet. And I know for me, when I went off my plant-based diet and went to a keto diet, my blood pressure went. And what I attributed that to was some of the plants that I was eating were very inflammatory, and that was causing my particular high blood pressure. Catherine or Siobhan, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so with blood pressure, there's a certain type where it's basically like we don't know what causes it. And one of the things that it can be related to is hyperinsulinemia, so high insulin levels. A lot of people don't get insulin levels checked, but it plays a lot into reflecting your metabolic health, basically. So that's a possibility that may be worth following up on. In terms of relating specifically to lipedema, I think it's found so far that the prevalence of things like high blood pressure and diabetes are potentially lower with lipedema, but that isn't to say that there couldn't be other conditions on top that you may be dealing with that may be relating to it. And then in terms of like metabolic health and stuff like that, if it does seem like that's playing in, um, like there are ways to do that through nutrition that maybe you wouldn't have to go against how you prefer to eat, maybe just tweak it a little bit to work better for you. Um, but yeah, I
Right.
had high blood pressure before I went keto, and I think that was mostly just metabolic syndrome because that's what I was dealing with at the time.
Yeah, thank you
So
so
if
much.
you think of a metaphor, if you have a hangnail and it's bothering you, you can amputate your foot and then it won't hurt you anymore. But
Correct.
that's not what but that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to find the easiest, most gentle way
Mm-hmm.
possible. I thought that was a good metaphor.
I
What do you
think
guys think?
but I get a hangnail on my finger and I'm trying to figure out why I'm going to amputate my foot.
Well, you wouldn't
But
be as
I
upset about the hangnail at that point.
that's true. I wouldn't be so upset about that.
Really?
That actually, it's a hilarious metaphor, and I love it. I'm going to use it, Catherine. Can I steal that?
Yep.
Okay. I was going to say there's another question here, and I think Catherine, you might have something to present. It's from Tibby. Rose, any studies on HRT for those of us in menopause? Can you address, if not studies, how
Yeah.
HRT
Yeah.
has affected?
So there is enough established that HRT obviously increases estrogen levels, and estrogen levels increases the risk of breast cancer. And that's really what's at the bottom of this, what to do at menopause. I can say that as a temporary solution, something called bioidenticals, which are estrogen, it's something called estradiol, um, actually helps to increase and maintain some stability around the estrogen levels. The only issue is it's not a permanent solution. And it's not a permanent solution because at some point you're still increasing estrogen levels chemically, even though it's chemically, it's still chemically. And so, there are lots to think about.
Yeah, HRT
So,
for menopause symptoms is definitely something where I've heard multiple different viewpoints on it. And I think that happens because it's such a complex topic where you have to weigh multiple different things. So you can look at studies regarding all cause mortality or stroke risk or cancer risk or all of this other stuff. You can also look at quality of life. And really, in those types of situations, the best thing to do is just to look at the different opinions on as many sides as you can that are supported by the research, and then talk to your doctor about it and figure out what's going to work best for you. And then if lipedema symptoms are something you're concerned about, consider checking in with the community for other people who have tried it, and what their response was, and then factor that in as well. It's probably not going to be impacts everybody the same way, but it's another piece of information that you can consider when you're weighing your concerns and the kind of positive effects you are considering and all of that, and then just pull it all together and have a discussion with your doctor about it and see like what sounds like it's going to work best for you.
Yeah. And we all take, if we do take HRTs, it or HRT, hormonal replacement therapy, it's usually for different effects, and all of us need a different level.
Mm-hmm.
I know they ended up sending me to a compounding pharmacy. They were trying to tweak it so that the side effects were so that the benefits outweighed the side effects. And so yeah, I would be really careful and work very closely with your care provider with that. So we have another thing coming up in April. So March, we're starting off with a bang, right? We've got 2 webinars, boom, 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 coming up, and it's going to be in April. We have our amazing 3-day event. It's called Heart to Heart, and I just saw it. I was going to pop it up. Sorry, here it is. It's Heart to Heart, and our Heart to Heart is on April 12th, 13th, and 14th. It's Keto and Beyond, and the reason we named it Keto and Beyond is because we know there's just more than keto to manage our lipedema symptoms. But the other thing about why it's called Heart to Heart, I love this title. I love that we got it from Leslyn. And I love that Catherine has incorporated heart in every single thing that Lipedema Simplified puts on. Catherine, why do you think a Heart to Heart is the best title for our events?
When it came up, we were having a brainstorm, and Leslyn really came up with it. I remember I was shocked because she's so fact oriented. She's so left hemispheric, um, scientifically based, research based. And I thought to myself, what a perfect match, because Heart to Heart is we are, but we base it in science. That's what makes us different from a lot of other things on the web. It's our medical and clinical and research background is pretty comprehensive. We have some of the top doctors in the planet working with us. And so having that balance is Heart to Heart. You know, I look at heart compassion, heart knowledge, heart community, heart science. I could go on and on about this. Heart, our individual recovery processes, heart supporting one another. So it just encompassed everything. And I have to say that I totally love it. And there's also some, you know, I cannot remember. Leslyn, I know, had something to do with it, but so did you, Gail.
Oh, yeah.
You were a huge part of that conversation.
Yeah, because it was like my heart talking to your heart, my heart talking to your heart, right? And it's like that, it meant so much to me. So, yeah.
So, so the bottom line, I think, for all of what we do, and while Heart to Heart sounds like it's very, on the emotional side, we're so focused on balance, which the heart to heart does. Because without the knowledge, without the expertise, without a really clear process of understanding what works for you and what doesn't, you're not going to get the results that you want. And I don't know about you, but I've been all over the internet. I have researched everything in wazoo, whatever that means, up the wazoo. And there isn't
Okay.
any stone that I have left unturned.
Well, not only
And,
that, after you've traveled all over the world trying to find solutions.
I did. And, what we do and who we are is those solutions based in science. That's our Siobhan for you, our research specialist. She
Yeah, but
makes sure that it matches.
I did want to highlight one aspect that I'm really excited about because, yes, we do talk about keto at the April event. There's a lot of research behind doing that, there's a lot of community experience behind doing that. But we called it Keto and Beyond this time because we're not just talking about keto. And if you have zero interest whatsoever in keto, you're still going to get something out of this because we're going to be talking about things like food and carbohydrate addiction that may play a part for some people. We're going to be talking about the psychological impact of nutrition, whether you're keto or not. We're going to be talking about relationships with food and putting together a way of eating that's going to make you happy. Because so often with lipedema or any struggles that even barely touch on weight, there is so much restriction, 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 and turning nutrition into this punishment that you have to struggle through and plug your nose and take a bite and not think about it and eat stuff that you don't like. And we don't want people to do that anymore because this is something that where it's a chronic condition and short term diets that make you miserable are not going to work because you can't sustain that. So, we want to be able to approach nutrition from this way that's gentle and joyful and pleasurable and satisfying and happy and exciting and something that fits into your life. And that's what we're going to be talking about at the event. Yeah, some keto stuff, but also some talk about relationships with food and all this other stuff, the social component, how we socialize with food, and how that's not a bad thing. Like, it's perfectly fine to do that. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to get that across because I think it's so important that this isn't just about food, even though it's just about food. It's a lot more than that.
Right. It is. And it's very exciting when I think about all the experts that are going to be there. I mean, it just doesn't seem like there's any place in the world that we can go and get Georgia Eid to be there. Jen Unwin's going to be there. Um, I'm struck. I'm excited about Georgia Eid. I'll tell you, I'm so
Leslyn
excited.
and me and
Yeah, Dr. Tro is coming. Dr. Tro is going to be there.
Tro. Yay, Tro.
Tro's going to be there. You guys are the first to hear about this, and I can't tell you all of it, but we are beginning to work with Dr. Tro about setting up something that can support the lipedema community. That's all I can say. Come to the event, you'll hear more, but it's so exciting.
Yeah, we
Isn't
are
it,
working
Siobhan?
on so much stuff in the background. I'm like, man, am I glad I am eating a nutritious and energizing diet because otherwise I would not have energy for all the stuff we're doing. But yes, it's fantastic, and we'll be talking about it more at the April event and continuing on forward. And there's going to be so much good stuff. Probably people are going to cry at the event because they do every time, but that's a good thing. It's always happy tears and feeling understood, maybe for the first time in your life, that this isn't your fault, and that there are ways to move forward that are happy, that are focused on happiness and being comfortable and being kind to yourself, which I think is so important.
Mm.
And
And welcome, Susan.
yeah, this is
Go
her
ahead.
first time. It's her first time joining us. Thank you, Catherine, for bringing her comment up from Atlanta, Georgia. And this is one of the things I want to say when you get a first timer in there. Our heart-to-heart events are interactive. You get to talk to people. It's not like it's not a listening assignment, right? It's an interactive assignment where you actually get to meet other people in the community and visit with them. And you get to meet the speakers and visit with them. It blew my mind the first time Catherine said, "Hey, let's do it this way," because I was nervous, right? And then I realized this is fun and exciting. There is no place that you can meet up like this and have this comprehensive set of amazing experts. So I threw the link in the chat or comments, whatever it's called. So please make sure to go in there because there's no place else that you're going to be able to find something like this. Anyway.
Yes. And before we close out, there is one additional thing that I wanted to make sure everybody is aware of, which is back in October, we had talked about being part of the Lipedema World Congress and how exciting it was and how cool the presentations were and how awesome it was. And those presentations are now up on the Lipedema World Congress website, and they're available now. So just so everybody is aware, this was such a cool event. It was such a cool meeting of the minds and awesome discussion and research and topics that I think deserve a lot more focus in the community, and talk about surgery and talk about early stage lipedema and how we shouldn't be overlooking them. All sorts of stuff. How to move forward, where we're at, where we should be, where we want to be, all that type of stuff. So if you have the chance, go and watch those presentations. We have one from our own Matt Carmody. I did a poster presentation, which I think was probably recorded. I don't remember. But yeah, go check that out as soon as possible. It is super good.
And I
so
dropped
good.
that. I dropped that in the comments. As you can see, sometimes it's too much to copy all this stuff down on the screen. But so look for the comment lipedema-world-congress.com on -demand, and it'll take you right there. Okay. So let's see, 38 minutes. What do you think, you guys? Think it's time to wrap this puppy up?
Oh, yeah. This is supposed to be, yeah, it's supposed to be 20 minutes.
Well, it's a
they
good
get longer
thing.
and longer.
I think it's a good thing that we have so much to talk about that is new and coming up, because God knows we need it as a community to have stuff to look forward to and be involved in and feel excited about.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes.
And so
I agree. Thank you.
So you're welcome. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Come see us on Sunday. Give us some hearts. There you go. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye now.